Hello class, welcome to another edition of Mrs. Gregorio's YouTube videos. Today we are doing chapter 1, lesson 4 on proportional and non-proportional relationships. Please follow along with me in your books starting on page 33. Remember, at any time in the video, if you need to pause or replay an example, please do so. You can watch the videos an unlimited amount of times to help you. All right, so to begin on page 33, I would like you to do the real world link to warm you up for this lesson. This is about a pizza party and it starts on page 33. First, I'd like you to complete the chart for question 1 and then go on to complete questions 2 and 3. Please be prepared to explain your answers in class on Monday when we return. Go ahead and pause the video to complete the real world link. Okay, now that you've done the pizza party activity, turn to page 34 for example 1. It says Andrew earns $18 per hour for mowing lawns. Is the amount of money he earns proportional to the number of hours he spends mowing? Explain. So when we have to look for a proportional relationship, it helps us stay organized if we create a table like the one shown here. It asks us to solve the number of hours compared to the money he earns. So we have money he earns and number of hours that he works or spends mowing the lawn. Now he earns $18 per hour. So to fill in our chart, we have $18 he earns, and the time it takes to earn $18 is 1 hour. Now let's say he has a larger lawn to mow, and it takes him twice as long. So the time here would be 2 hours. In 2 hours, he would earn twice the amount of money. If you double 18, you would get about $36 that he would earn. If we keep this pattern going, 3 hours would take 3 times the amount of money, which would be $54. And in 4 hours, he could earn $72. So now we've completed the chart, but now we have to answer the question, is it proportional? Well, proportional means that they have a constant ratio or unit rate. So we can show these two quantities as fractions. As you can see here, 18 over 1 is already in a unit rate. So we can't reduce that fraction. However, for our number 2, 36 over 2 can be reduced. When you divide the top and bottom by 2, you get a unit rate of 18 over 1, consistent to the 18 over 1 to start with. Now let's take a look at 54 over 3. 54 over 3 can be reduced by dividing the top and the bottom by 3, which gives you 18 over 1. And the last one is 72 over 4. So when you reduce that, you can divide the top and bottom fraction by 4, and you get 18 over 1. So it's clear this is a proportional relationship because every single fraction reduced to 18 over 1. So we need to explain. This is the most important part of our answer. How can we explain that it is proportional? Well, since he earns the same amount per hour, $18 per hour, same amount per hour, it's proportional. And I'm abbreviating because I'm out of space, but I would expect you to write out your sentence in the work zone on your paper. Please make sure you take notes and show your work for this problem. When you're done, I would like you to answer question A on the bottom of page 34. To get credit for this homework assignment, you have to show your work. Please pause the video now and continue working on example 1. Okay, example 2, page 35. Uptown Tickets charges $7 per baseball game ticket plus a $3 processing fee per order. Is the cost of an order proportional to the number of tickets ordered? Explain. Well, the cost of one ticket is $7. But every time you order a ticket, you have to pay a processing fee to get your ticket. So the cost, so I'm going to write this down. One ticket is $7 plus you have to pay the $3 processing fee for each order. Okay. So if you order just one ticket, you're paying $7 plus for the ticket plus $3 in processing fee, which gives you a total of $10. Now, if you order 2 tickets, you have 2 tickets times $7 per ticket, which is $14. But don't forget, you have to pay the $3 processing fee. So we add $3 to our order, which gives us a total of $17. So the cost for 2 tickets is $17. Keep the pattern going. What if we wanted to buy 3 tickets? 3 tickets times $7 per ticket is $21. Don't forget, you have to pay for that processing fee for your order. So add the $3 on, and you get a total of 21 plus 3 makes $24. So fill in the chart. Let's say you wanted to order 4 tickets. 4 tickets, let's keep this going here. 4 tickets would be $7 each. So that gives you a total of $28. Don't forget to add the $3 processing fee, which equals a grand total of $31 for that order. So 4 tickets cost $31. Please fill in the chart. Now we have to test it. Is it proportional? To find out if it's proportional, we have to look at the unit rates. The unit rate is when we take each price and divide it over one order. So in this case, the price for one ticket was $10. 10 divided by 1 is 10 over 1. However, here for 2 tickets, it costs $17. If you were to reduce this fraction and put it in a unit rate form over 1, divide the top and the bottom by 2, 17 divided by 2 is about $8.50 on average. As you can see, 10 over 1 does not equal 850 over 1. Therefore, they're not proportional. Now we can double check the price for $3, or I'm sorry, for 3 tickets. 3 tickets cost $24. If you reduce it, divide the top and the bottom by 3, that reduces really nicely. 24 divided by 3 is 8 over 1. So that means it averages about $8 per one ticket. 850 is not equal to 8 over 1. And 8 over 1 is not equal to 10 over 1. Therefore, it's not proportional. Last one to test. 31 over 4. When you reduce 31 over 4 and divide the top by 4 and the bottom by 4, you can reduce that out. I'm going to show my work up here. 4 goes into 31 7 times. With 3 left over, add a decimal, bring it down. Again, 7 times, subtract 28, have 2 left over, bring it down. So that's about $7.75 per one ticket. This is not proportional. We need to explain our thinking. So to explain, I'm going to say, since the average cost is not equal or equivalent, this is not a proportional relationship. So you can see my explanation is a complete sentence, and I explain with my work. My work supports my answer. Okay? So if you have any questions about example 2, please write them down so we can go over it in class. Let's try example 3 now. Example 3 is just below on page 35. You can use the recipe shown to make a fruit punch. Is the amount of sugar used proportional to the amount of mix used? Explain. So here's our fruit punch recipe. It calls for half a cup of sugar, 1 envelope of mix, and 2 quarts of water. Now for this, we're not really concerned about the quarts of water because it's just asking for the sugar compared to the mix. So half a cup of sugar requires 1 envelope of mix. But what if we doubled it? What if I have 2 envelopes of mix? How much sugar would I need? Well, we'd have to double it. If you have 1/2 doubled, multiply it by 2, or 2 over 1, and you get 1 whole mix. What if we had 3 mixes, or 3 envelopes of mix? Take the 1/2 you start with, multiply it by 3. That gives you 3 over 2, which is about 1.5 cups of sugar. Now let's pretend we need 4 envelopes of mix. How much sugar would we need? Well, 1/2 times 4 is 4 over 2, which is 2 whole cups of sugar. You can see a nice pattern developing in our table. The mix of envelope, or the envelopes of mix, increase by 1 each time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the cups of sugar are increasing by 1/2 each time. Since it is increasing by the same amount every single time, it looks like it's proportional. But let's test it. The way to test it is to write it as a fraction. 1/2 divided by 1 is still 1/2. Let me rewrite that so it matches the color of our table. 1/2 over 1. Okay, 1/2 divided by 1 is itself 1/2. Now let's take the blue, 1 cup of sugar divided by 2 cups of envelope. Well, that's simple. It's also 1/2. You can't reduce it any further. What about this? 1.5 divided by 3. 1.5 divided by 3. 3 over 2 divided by 3. Well, if you work that out, 3 over 2 times the reciprocal, which would be 1/3, those cross cancel. You still end up with 1/2. And last of all, the black, for 2 cups of sugar, it takes 4 envelopes of mix. Reduce it and you get 1/2. since every single rate reduces to 1/2, this is a proportional relationship. So I'd like you to write that in a sentence, that because all of the fractions reduce to 1/2, it's proportional. That means 1 cup of sugar will always need 2 envelopes of mix. Please try activity B on the bottom of page 35, and remember to show your work for full credit. Last example 4 on page 36. The tables shown represent the number of pages Martin and Gabriel read over time. Which situation represents a proportional relationship between the time spent reading and the number of pages read? So we need to compare. Now, your book should have the numbers filled in already. So let's look at Martin first. The pages Martin read are 2 pages, 4 pages, and 6 pages. The time it takes for 2 pages is 5 minutes. The time for 4 pages is 10 minutes. And 6 pages takes 15 minutes. So let's go ahead and let's compare to see if Martin's pages and time are proportional to each other. The way to do that is to show it as a fraction. So the first one is 2/5. The second fraction, 4/10, can also be reduced. Let's try it. 4/10 divided by 2 to the top and the bottom is 2/5. Let's try the last one. 6/15, divide the top and bottom by 3, and you get 2/5. So we can tell that since every single page and time reduces to 2/5, Martin's reading is proportional relationship. And I'm going to explain that in a sentence. Now let's compare it with Gabriel's. Gabriel reads 3 pages in 5 minutes. He reads 4 pages in 10 minutes. Let's write that down here. And he reads 7 pages in 15 minutes. Now to test if it's proportional, we want every fraction to reduce to the same amount. Well, 3/5 cannot be reduced any further, so we can just leave that alone. 4/10 can be reduced. If you divide the top and bottom by 2, you get 2/5. Now, hopefully you are encountering a little bit of a problem here. 3/5 does not equal 2/5. So automatically, we can tell it is not a proportional relationship. Now let's carry out the problem and let's compare the last fraction of 7/15. Both numbers cannot be reduced, so this is no longer equal. Therefore, Gabriel's reading is not proportional. Make sure you write that in a complete sentence to explain your thinking. Okay, that is all for Chapter 1, Lesson 4. Remember to write down any questions and be prepared to go over the guided practice in class tomorrow. I hope you have a great evening, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.